Thank you so much for joining today, this first webinar about global trend reports. My name is Monique Jöris, and my colleague Martine is also there. So we will provide this webinar for you today. So let me start with thanking our longtime sponsor, Histogenetics, who is sponsoring us for a very long time, and especially the Global Trend Report. So thank you to Histogenetics. Martina will explain a little bit about how the webinar environment works and how we are going to do this webinar today. So Martina.
Yeah. Thank you, Monique, for giving this webinar about the Global Trend Report. We're very happy that you're gonna explain this to our members. I will explain a little bit about the webinar. So if you have any technical problems, please use the chat function. You can find it in the bar below. If you don't see the bar, just use your mouse a little bit and you can, it will pop up and you can see you have a Q&A and a chat function. So the chat is for all the technical problems you have, and the Q&A is for actual questions about the webinar and about the Global Trends Report. So any question you have about the presentation Monique has given, please send it through the Q&A and we will get to those at the end of the presentation, and Monique will try to answer them. Should we need any assistance or advice in getting an answer, if we don't know the answer to your question, we will check and we will get back to you later through email. You will also be able to find a recording of this webinar in probably later this week on Share. And yeah, that's all the information I think you need for participating in the webinar. So Monique, please, the floor is yours.
Yes. Oh, wait, too fast. So let's have a quick check if the Q&A is working. Let us know from which country you are calling in today, and we will have an idea about where everybody is. Martina is in the Netherlands at the moment. I am calling in from Indonesia. So if you hear any surrounding noise like motorbikes or maybe some chickens, I'm very sorry for this, but I cannot do anything about that. So I see we already have a few. We have South Africa, Israel, Denmark, UK. There's also some people in the chat. Russia, Denmark. Wow, so it's truly from all around the world. So it seems that everything is working correctly. Well, welcome everybody from all over the world. Thank you for joining. So I want to start with one short question. We'll do a poll just to see if you have ever used the WMDA questionnaire to submit the Global Trend Report data before. So is it the first time, the second time, the third time, or already more than 3 times? You can put your votes in now. It will give us an idea about how proficient you already are with using the system. And I see there are already a few votes coming in. Somebody is raising their hand. I don't know what that means. What does that mean, Martina?
I don't know. Sometimes somebody's waving at us just to say
okay, hi.
if you have a question or if the polling is not working for you, what you can do is see if you move your mouse, you might be able to actually answer. And if there's a technical problem, please use the chat. and I will see if I can help you from here.
Okay, we already have like a lot of votes, so let's end the poll and let's...
I will end the polling. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Share the results.
Yeah.
So it seems that we have already a lot of people that are been using this for some time, so that's good. There's also some people it's the first time or the second time, so I think it's a good mix. Okay, so whoops. So let's get started. I'd like to start with just a short introduction on the Global Trend Report. So like, what is it in a nutshell? So this WMDA Global Trend Report provides unique insights in the worldwide unrelated donor and corporate unit donations and exchange of the products, because there's no other organization in the world that documents this data. So in 2019, which is the data we will collect this year, it's going to be the 23rd time that we already do this. So that's a very nice global effort that we're all doing here. So last year, or the data of 2018, there were 99 organizations that submitted their data, and they were from 54 different countries. So like I said, it's a true global effort. All continents are represented, and we are really, truly very happy that every donor registry and corporate bank is providing this data to us, so we can provide this to our members and to the community. Let me move a little bit. So these were the numbers of donors and corporate units recorded on the 1st of January 2018. It's almost 36 million donors and 750,000 corporate units are available for patients in the world. We also ask you to provide all the different cell types, so marrow, apheresis, and the cords. And of course, we would like to know where it's all going, where are the donations shipped. And it's at the moment, it's about 50-50 of the products are being used nationally, and 50% is being used internationally. So it's really crossing borders, these products. So I have a second question for you all, because if everything is correct, you have received an email from me asking for the data. And I'm wondering if you know when is the deadline for submitting your data of the Global Trend Report 2019? Just to see if all the information is coming across. So please put your votes in.
Again, votes are coming in nicely. Oh, we're not yet at 50%.
No, please.
Yeah, somebody isn't able to vote through the polling system, but they answered in the chat, so that's also fine. If you would like to answer through the chat function, that's perfect.
Or maybe if somebody is calling in, not using the computer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's actually very promising because most people have it correctly. So the 1st of March is the deadline, which is
well done.
Really nice to see that people.
And if you opted for the 29th of January, that's also perfect, because they're 1 day sooner than later. So
yeah, you can be a day earlier. That's fine. Okay, so let's go to the system. Moving you all down a little bit. so this is what the questionnaire homepage looks like. And it's, oh, and it's oh, I'm sorry. So it's questionnaire.wmda.info. Don't use www. Because then the website doesn't work. It needs to be HTTPS. So how can you log in? This is a very common problem that we encounter with all the people that try to submit their data. The login is not personal. It's linked to the organization, and therefore it's not the same as the one for WMDA Share. So people are trying to use their Share account, and this doesn't work. So what should you do? The username is your organization's ION or WO number if you don't have an ION. In the email I send you, there's a link to ICBA where you can find your ION if you don't know it. And also there's a link to WMDA Share where you can find your WO number. And most people already have a registered password. So this should be known by somebody in your organization. But if you don't remember the password, if you don't know it, you can always reset your password. If you enter the username or the password wrong, the option to reset your password appears. So this line will show up, and you can the link will be sent to the email address that's connected to the account. So if you log in, it looks like this. This is a test user I just made. So here you can find your account. You have to click on your account, the red one. Then you can go to your account. Here you can change your password if you want. You can change the contact person, the email address. You can all do this yourself. But please, if you change the contact person or the email address, please also notify me and the WMDA office so we can change it also in our member administration. So everything will keep current, and we will also know who and where to contact them. So where can you find the questionnaire if you are logged in? There's two buttons, export and questionnaire. So if you click on questionnaire, you get all the years. You can also see there your older questionnaires that you filled out. But to fill out the one of 2019, you click on the little action button there, and it will open into the questionnaire. So how do you fill out the questionnaire? For people who find it convenient to first work on paper, there is an export function. You can export an empty PDF form. Some people like this, other people don't, but it's an option. There are a few green boxes. I will show the questionnaire later from my laptop. But there are a few green boxes. You don't have to fill this out. They will be calculated automatically from other boxes that you fill out. So every field needs a response, except for the whole country list. When you are putting the shipment data in there, you don't have to put a 000 for every country, because that will take a lot of time. But all other fields need a response. So if the input is not 0 or is not a number, you can always use NA for not applicable or unknown for unknown. And at the TNC questions, you will have to give an answer after each response. So you do not have any empty enters, because these will also be counted. So I will just show you this quickly. Let's go to a different screen. So I go to the questionnaire here, and then it shows up the information how to fill out. You can also find it in the top here. So if we go to the TNC, so we are asking the TNC count after the TNC count of every corporate unit provided for transplantation. So you can put here a number. And then when you go outside of the box, you can see it counts 2 now because there's an empty line. So if this number is not correct in box 43, it will give an error later on. So you need to be sure that like all the ones here are filled out correctly to be able to have the correct number here. So that's something you should keep in mind. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. So, of course, it's a lot of data you have to put in, probably. So this button, save as a working version, you can temporarily save your data and come back later to finish. So the most important part, of course, is to see if you have any errors, because in the system there are internal checks between questions to see if all the data makes sense. You can do that by pressing check form, and then there will be maybe no error, or there will be a list of errors displayed in the bottom, and it can help you to correct all the data if necessary.
Monique?
So how do you correct errors? So this is an example of an error, and this one is the, yeah?
There is a little lag in the connection, I think.
Okay.
So it might be a good idea to take little breaks every now and again, because the sound is lagging at certain points. So,
okay.
but I think,
I'm sorry.
No. It was, I could understand you, but sometimes the sound and the camera are a little bit off. So
okay.
yeah.
Well, I hope I will slow down a little bit.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, so this is one of the biggest calculations that's inside the questionnaire. You can see there's many questions involved. The 17 is 44, blah blah blah. The rest, this means the numbers of the questions, and the text here below is the text that is in the question itself. So it will also show up in the questionnaire itself. So you first save your data as working version, then you do check form, and then the errors come up or not. If you then go to your questionnaire, you can go and find question number 17, which was the one that gave a problem, and also the rule will come up here. So 17 should equal all this, and apparently it's not correct in this questionnaire. So these are the question numbers, and I just checked in this questionnaire the values that were entered. So question 17 has 779, question 44 has 55, and so forth. And then in the end, it says 779 is 778, which is not correct. That's why you get the error. So you can go and check all these questions. What do they mean? Why should they be added up? Or like the last one, question 22 is subtracted. And then you can find in your data like, okay, where is it going wrong? So in this particular instance, the 44 should be 35, the 34 should be 35, and then then it says 779 is 779, which is correct. And then if you save again, check the form, the error should be gone. So what does that look like in the error, in the questionnaire? Whoops, let me just close this one. So I do check form. I get a little box saying that the questionnaire contains errors and that all the errors are highlighted in red, as I just showed you. Oh, I am in 2019. I have to go to 2018. I'm sorry for this particular error. So here we see the error coming up, and the values were entered. Where is the question? This one, like I just showed you. So if I now change this one in 35, so apparently there was a mistake made in the number of workup cancellations. And then you say save working version. And check again. There were other errors, but this one is now gone. So we would like to know all the internal checks that are built into the questionnaire. You can 2009 out. So oops. This one is empty now. If I do check form, I get the same pop-up saying that there's errors, and it also saying that there are values missing. So yeah, obviously because it's empty, but you will get that one also if you didn't fill out all the questions yet. And here you can see all the validation rules that are built into the questionnaire. So you can see there's a lot. And some of them are really straightforward. So for instance, the first one is the first question 1A, where you put in the number of donors that are available for transplantation. And then it checks that one against question 4, 5, and 6, which are, it makes sense that those 3 is the total number of donors that are registered. And in this way, you can find out what is wrong. If you have any error, they will also show up in the questionnaire like I showed before. So this is the number of adult volunteer donors. 1A, it says 1A should be the same as the males, the females, and the unknowns. So yeah, this is how you can figure out what is wrong if you have an error and figure out how to correct this. There is a chicken. I don't know if you can hear that one, but so then if you filled out all your data, you corrected any errors that you might have, you can submit the data, because the system will not allow you to save your data as a final version if you still have errors and if you still have not filled out all the data. Now, in some cases, the error cannot be solved for various reasons. We've had that in the past. So if you have an error that you cannot solve, you can always send me an email, because I can accept the questionnaire even if it have errors. But first, I would like to check what kind of error is it? Like, is it really not solvable? But no despair, if there is something wrong and you really cannot fix it, we can still use your data. So submitting the data is very easy. You just press this button, save as final version. You save it, and we will get an email. Now, in the case you still have to change something after that, I can unlock the questionnaire again and you can add it again. So it's not final, but yeah, it's final. So then after everybody has entered their data, submitted their final data, in the office, in the WMDA office, we will also do a manual check. We will look also comparing with previous years if there is no weird jumps or strange data in there. And then we can make the report. So where can you find the global trend report if it's ready? You can go to share. This is the share environment. And it will be in the pillar supporting global development, global trend report. So if you click on there, you will find here the global trend report 2019. So in the system, you can also export your own data and also your own KPIs. Your key performance indicators, because they are automatically calculated in the system from the data that you enter. Sometimes people need this proof of participation when they are starting WMDA qualification or accreditation, but you might also want to use it for internal analysis or internal reports, or just to see how is your registry evolving. Yeah, make your own trend analysis. It can be helpful. So where can you find it? How can you export it? And I also have made an example. So let me go back to the questionnaire. So there are two buttons here on the top, questionnaire and export. So if you go to export, there are two options, export and KPI. So in the export button, there are several options. You can export your complete answers, and if you have been participating a long time, you can choose which year you want. So you will get an Excel sheet with the answers of that year. You can also export graphs. You can choose all data of your own country, or data of your own registry if there are more registries in your country. And you can also export the from to tables, which is the global exchange. I have one example here. If you export the complete answers, which is what you need if for the reviewers, if you are entering qualification or accreditation, and you will get an Oh, wait, I need to share this, of course. You will get a spreadsheet like this. I anonymized it because usually it will have your continent, your country, your organization name, and your ION or your WO number. But you can see here are all the questions, and these are the numbers that were inputted by this this registry. And in this registry, there were also other registries. So you will also have a total of your own country, and then there is the total of everybody who submitted their data. So like I showed you, you go to the export button. There you can export your Excel sheets, your graphs, or the global exchange Excel sheet. Then there's the other button saying KPI, and from there you can export your own KPIs. So what does that look like? Oh. Go to, so go to KPI. I can also choose the year here. And there's only one type of report that you can do. And then if you hit export, there's a different tab opening showing the KPIs. Now, because the KPIs are anonymized, I will not scroll down all the way because I had to show actual data. But as you can see, these bars are all gray, which means this is not you. This is not your organization. So I have to scroll down. So you can see there's one bar here, which is blue, and this is your organization. So this works for everyone. If you are in the system, you can export your own KPIs, and your organization will be highlighted blue in these graphs. So if you need to make a report of this, you can screenshot the graphs and put them in any report that you have to submit to the reviewers for the accreditation of qualification, or you can also use them in your own reports for your own documentation of your KPIs. WMDA also makes a report of all the KPIs, which is also available on Share. But this is for your own use. Oh. I'm messing up the share. Okay, so since 2016, we have been calculating the KPIs inside the questionnaire system. And in 2016, we determined that we would have the reference lines set for 3 years. So in 2019, based on the 2019 data, we will calculate the new reference lines. And then, yeah, so the reports of 2019 and the 3 ones before are not comparable in that sense then anymore, because they will have different reference lines. So it could be that you go over old data, maybe it's even data from 5 years ago or 10 years ago, or maybe last year. You might find an error. Please, if you do find an error, always notify us on that. We would like to keep the data good as possible. So you can always still send us an email or call us, and we will correct this data then for you in the system. So we will have the data as clean as possible. So what can WMDA do to improve this system? If you want to give feedback now, you can use either the Q&A or the chat function. There might be some things you have been working in the system and you are annoyed by something that always happens, or suggestions for improvement. We are always happy to get these suggestions. Just to let you know, we are already working on improving the graphs, making them better readables. Like the data is sometimes quite small or overlapping. We are working with Steiner on that to try and improve it. I also got a request to make the password visible when you enter it. So if you make a mistake, you can see it. Because if you enter the password 3 times wrong, the account will be locked and I will have to re-unlock it. The use of not applicable and unknown is not really optimized yet, because you can enter not applicable, for instance, in the question, but then the summarized, the green fields will still show 0, which is of course not true. So we are working on this also with Steiner to change that. And I think also maybe based on the questions that you might have, and maybe on some of the things that I've talked about today, we can add maybe a FAQ to the WMDA Share Global Trend Report information page. So if you have a problem, you can look first there and see if you can easily find the answer before you have to email or call or whatever. So I don't know, are there any suggestions? Martine, did anyone make a suggestion?
Nope, there's nothing came in through the Q&A or through the chat. So
okay. Well, if you think about it
either, so that's good.
Well, well, now, I mean, now's the time to ask questions. I hope I will be able to answer it, but yeah. So if during the time you are entering the data or anything, you feel like, okay, they should make this different, please let us know so we can make it as good as possible for you to use it. So are there any questions? Like in general, it can be about the system, but it can also be about what does the question mean? How do I interpret it? Anything that you can think of that you would like to know, please ask it now so we can go through the questions and it's helpful for everyone.
No questions so far.
Okay. Well,
I think you did a really good job going through.
I don't know.
I think everywhere where there's a little lagging, the presentation still shows. So I don't think that will give any problems later for people understanding what you told. So that's wonderful. Well done.
Okay. Okay, so I have a final poll for you. Is that I would like to know if you are able to meet the deadline. So please put in your votes.
I see a good start.
Somebody raised their hand again.
Yeah, so that I will take that as a yes. The people raising their hands.
Okay. There's my pointer. I will end the poll.
Give them a little bit.
Oh,
no, you.
I'm too quick. I'm sorry.
You can relaunch it. Let me relaunch it.
Oh, relaunch it. Okay.
Yeah, and give a little bit more time to.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for the people that already voted. You have to vote again.
Yeah. Usually, we give people about a minute to vote, and then.
Okay.
It's usually sufficient.
I see. There are still no questions.
No.
Okay. Ah, there's a question.
There we go. Okay. So if you haven't voted yet, you still want to vote. And don't worry, if you feel that you might need more time, it's of course also fine to enter that as an
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We would just like to know.
Okay.
And I mean, if you cannot make the deadline, please let me know, because then I can maybe help you with whatever the reason is you cannot meet the deadline. If you maybe have errors that you don't understand or anything, yeah. So please let me know.
Okay, I will end the polling now. Thank you for entering. I will share the results.
Oh, that's promising.
Yeah, exactly.
So I saw there were a few questions.
Yeah, shall I read them for you and you can? Yeah. So we have one question. If you add new questions, please do not reuse old question numbers, but use new numbers, even if the logical order of the number changes. Thank you. So it's not actually a question, but it's a request.
It's a suggestion
to us. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for suggesting this.
Because they probably written something to get the data out of there. And then if all the question numbers change, then they have to change maybe everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a very good suggestion.
Yeah, that's a very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for that suggestion.
And we have a question from Alicia. Does WMDA plan to survey registries involved in international family donor assistance?
The family donors. I don't think we have that intention at the moment. I think the only field where we are going into family donation will be the serious adverse event, but not for the global trend report at this point, I think. Do you know from the office, Martine? Have you heard anything about that?
No, I think we won't.
No,
yeah,
I also don't think we will.
It's outside our scope. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also don't have contact with all these TCs that do the family donations. Yeah. So we don't even. I don't think we even have the means to get the data.
No. Yeah. Okay.
I see. There's another question.
No, Alicia's just thanking for the answer.
Okay.
I do think there's other associations that are gathering this data and publishing this data. I think it's like EBMT and
yeah, they do have information
EBMT,
about
yes.
family donation.
Yeah,
but that's more on the transplantation side, not so much on the donor side.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would like. Oh, there's another question.
Yes.
I will read it to you. Hi, one of the spreadsheets for exploring data for exporting shows data for registry, country, and global. I guess we just need to export the data of our own registry.
Yeah. Well, the data of your own registry is also in there, so you can, if you don't want the data of the other registries in your country or the global one, you can just delete those two columns.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was one thing I would like to add as well, that a summary of the Global Trend Report is also available on our website.
Yeah.
Always. If you go to the homepage of our website, www.wmda.info, and you scroll down, you will find the media center in a red bar. And not only can you find the Global Trends Report there, but also some other information, statistics, and you can use this report should you ever get a question from people or other organizations. You can always share this link and guide them to our website. Yeah.
And the Global Trend Report will also include, since last year we are doing this, it will include some data from Search and Match, from WMDA Search and Match service. So there will also be some data on the searches that have been done. And you can also find this on the website, but also on Share. So just a reminder, the deadline, 1st of March, please submit your data. If you cannot meet it, let me know. I can help you maybe with anything. And if there are any other problems, questions, or if you have corrections, changes, and suggestions, you can always contact me. This is my email and my phone number and the phone number of the WMDA office. And yeah, thank you so much for joining today. I hope it was helpful. If you think about any questions later on, please let us know.
I am trying to get the link to Survey Gizmo for everyone to give us feedback. But I cannot reach it at this time. You will all receive an email tomorrow with a link, and we would ask you to please give us some feedback about this webinar, the quality, and also if you have any other items you would like to have a webinar about. We really appreciate your feedback. We actually use it. So thank you for filling that out for us. And thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.